So we are in front of the meet and greet. People are already lining up to get pictures with Prime Mutton.
It's an absolute creamer!
Good afternoon, muttonistas. Today we are here with Prime Mutton, aka Jason Hackett.
Yes.
All right, and he is an Instagram star. I started following you maybe a year ago, and your big thing is reviewing Guinness beer. You also do some food reviews, and you hail from Manchester, UK.
That's all right. Yeah, all correct.
All correct. Let's go. I saw you were going to be in Chicago. I reached out to see if you would come on our pod, and you said sure. And then not only are you coming on our pod, me and you are holding a joint meet and greet tonight at the Guinness Brewery in Chicago.
Yep. That should be a really, really big event. That should be.
Well, it is an honor to have you on the airplane today because you're quite a world traveler. How many countries have you been to?
I do occasionally count this, and I reckon I'm in my mid-80s. It depends whether you count places like Hong Kong and Greenland as countries or not.
Greenland? I wouldn't call it a country, a territory of Denmark, but that's actually, you've been to Greenland?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's incredible. What brought you there?
I was playing a bridge event, because that's the other thing I do, play bridge, the card game, at international level, and a rather wealthy lady who was travelling back to Europe wanted to charter a plane to go to Greenland and see a few things before going back to Europe. So when she said she didn't want to go on her own and looked for volunteers, my hand was in the air before anybody else, so I was able to get a seat on the plane, and it was like being on a National Geographic documentary looking at some of the stuff there.
Wow. So is bridge how you make a living?
It's half social media and half bridge. I like that balance. I don't want one or the other to have to fade into the background, and it meant that when I started vlogging I could hit the ground running because of my extensive travel prior to me starting making videos and texts and posts on social media.
That's very cool. I think my grandma loved bridge, so that's the only reason I know about the game. It's not probably super popular with the younger generation these days.
That's true. It depends where you are. Funnily enough, in China it is. But I think the enemy of bridge is actually the internet, social media, and all the other things you can do, given the technological revolution we've had. So places like China, where everything's censored and the content on television is, shall we say, a little bland, it's the sort of thing that people like to take up when they see it on television, and I've been on Chinese television. People who hadn't a Scooby, which is a British saying, Scooby-Doo clue, about the game, they'd all watch fascinated and then try and find out somewhere where they could get some lessons.
All right.
So it's a younger demographic there. Also places like Poland, Scandinavia, but Britain, the US and France are countries where the age group is just rising all the time.
Okay. So you've been playing bridge for like a large portion of your life. When did you start filming yourself reviewing beers?
I got bored during the lockdowns like everybody else, and I was very lucky during the first lockdown because I was able to go to Madeira and stay with a friend. And for viewers who don't know where that is, it's an island in the Pacific southwest of Portugal, a Portuguese island. And they had very, very strict lockdowns, but what it meant was in early May 2020, they'd actually eradicated COVID. So by May the 15th, albeit with masks indoors, we were going around living normal lives there. For the second lockdown, I had to come back home because I had things to attend to, and the vaccines were nearly ready to roll out, and as you probably remember, Britain was getting them out first. And I thought, well, I'd better stay here, get vaccinated. Our health service, everything's for free. So I watched tons and tons of social media, saw beautiful-looking girls and boys talking about Guinness, stout, Chinese food. And when I saw them going to the wrong places to take a Guinness, like the Temple Bar pub in Dublin, I don't want to put people off going there, but it's
a tourist trap.
Yeah. And talking about Chinese food and lemon chicken, orange beef, sweet and sour pork as authentic Chinese food. I'm not saying I wanted to throw a can of something at the television, but I obviously realised people were doing well, not knowing what they were talking about. And I thought, A, I know what I'm talking about, and B, I'm decent at telling a story.
All right. So you just started making the vids. I know, like, it's hard to blow up, like, right off the bat, but you kept at it, and then, like, eventually had one video go really viral?
Yeah. I had something on YouTube that helped me a lot, and something on Instagram. So I started off just going to the local park, having bought camera equipment and learnt on the go, presented them terribly at the start, umming and ahhing, hesitating, and then I kind of learned how to edit by trial and error. And after the lockdowns were, shall we say, released, we went to some Manchester City games, and I went to a game in Madrid where we were a goal up with minutes to go, and we blew it at the end in Madrid, and all the other City vloggers stopped their vlogs at that point because they were embarrassed by the loss. I kept rolling and I filmed the whole thing, and it was my first over 100,000 view videos, and my YouTube account skyrocketed, mainly with Madrid fans boasting, but, you know, who cares?
Yeah, right.
Views are views.
And on Instagram, it was a vlog at the Gravediggers pub just to the northwest of Dublin.
Now, I've heard about this pub.
Yeah.
I think, like, anytime I've been to Ireland, they're like, they serve the best pint.
I think so, yeah.
What makes a good pint for you?
Balance. The key word with Guinness is balance. There's a little bit of chocolate, there's a little bit of coffee, and a little bit of bitterness because it is a dry stout. What often goes wrong, though, is that you get accentuated levels of bitterness from the pub not keeping the beer properly, or because the kegs have been exposed to sunlight for too long and they get warm. Just like a bottle of red wine, if you keep it at too high a temperature, can go warm. So when you go to these places in Dublin and other Irish cities, sometimes it's so good to the point that I go back to Britain, and probably the same for people who come back to the US. Oh, I'm not sure I can drink this anymore because it was so good over there, and now I'm getting back to what I was used to. So a good balance between the three main characteristics.
So is it very important for a pub to clean their lines?
Yes, and actually in Ireland now, every single pub has their lines cleaned by Guinness. They won't let them clean their own lines. They're
wow.
very, very picky about making sure it's served as well as possible. And they even have teams going around, if there's something wrong with your Guinness, who'll help you try and sort out the problem, whether it's just a valve, the cooling system, or something else.
Yeah.
It is really interesting how, like, Guinness is involved post-production of what they actually make from, like, their brewery, where even the one that we're going to tonight, like, you've been there, right?
Yeah.
Have you been there, Donnie?
Yes.
Where they will inspect the glass, and, like, their bartender will look at it, and they put glasses to the side if there's, like, a speck of dirt, or if the water didn't dry correctly, because they said it'll affect the way that the foam forms and all kinds of stuff. It's way more involved than I would have thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, is Guinness the oldest company in Ireland?
I know that the year 1759, I think, crops up on a lot of their advertising, and I have been to the exhibition in Dublin, the storeroom.
Yeah.
There's so much information that even I, as somebody who is involved with Guinness and other stouts, by the way, I can't remember all of it.
But it's still family owned, like, isn't it still owned by the family that founded it?
To a point. I think they sold out to Diageo. I'm not sure whether the family still have a role to play in the running of the business.
I heard that the TD Garden in Boston, like, they don't clean their lines. When I was going to a basketball game there, my friend's like, dude, don't drink the draft. I always just drink the bottles because they don't clean their lines. And I'd already had, like, I had 3 drafts that night. And the next morning I woke up with a brutal hangover. And my buddy was like, dude, it's because they don't clean the lines and you're getting all this, like, gross shit.
That, and they don't clean the lines of, you know, like if you're getting like a hot dog or something where the mustard and ketchup.
Yeah.
They just refill those buckets over and over again. Never clean out any of the ketchup. So it's just like crusted on the inside. Mm-hmm. Foul.
Yeah. Always clean your lines.
Yeah.
Very important. And a lot of people have said to me, oh, you're giving out these great reviews everywhere. I haven't actually posted them, but so many people have actually filmed me filming them. And they said, oh, you're talking about creamers and absolute creamers. Well, it's because some of the places where it's not been so good, I'm just not going to post.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of our boss, Portnoy. He does pizza reviews, and he's become known as the pizza guy. And he's kind of realized that his word has so much weight that he's like, even if he has a bad slice of pizza, he's like, well, I'm not trying to, like, ruin this business for good. You know, I might just either not post it or give it, like, you know, like a 7 or something. I don't know, a 6. Now with Guinness beer, I used to think of it as like a super heavy beer, but it's light on alcohol. Isn't it just like 4.5?
4.1.
Less than that, 4.1, 4.2. And,
So, yeah, I noticed in Ireland when I was there, I could just drink these all day long and just maintain a cool buzz, not get too drunk.
yeah, that's where the word session comes from, actually, that you can have quite a volume of it without getting mad drunk, and as long as you've just said, the lines are clean and there aren't any chemicals seeping into the beer that shouldn't be there, then you'll be absolutely fine the next day, even if you've had a lot.
And it's also considered one of the healthier beers?
Well, I've heard people say that there's a lot of iron and other stuff in there, and I've seen doctors, I think this is maybe a bit of an old-fashioned thing, prescribe a glass of Guinness to some old people who don't have enough vitamins in there.
Or they would prescribe it to a woman that had just given birth, because I think that process takes a lot of iron out of you. But yeah, they no longer do that. That was definitely the case maybe in the early 1900s or something.
And just a point about the heaviness and the alcohol strength, a lot of young women are now drinking Guinness because they've spotted that because of the lower alcohol, it's less calorific than, say, a 5% continental European lager. So it's about 210 calories, and some of the stronger lagers getting close to 300.
125 in this can right here. 15 ounces, 125 calories. Not too bad.
Yeah, we're drinking canned Guinness right now. Do you think like a can of Guinness can even come close to a fresh pint?
I don't think so, no. Also, I have to say, best out of a glass as opposed to a plastic cup.
Yeah, I know. I looked around for a while. I couldn't find one. Sorry, bud.
That is 100% true. I'd love to hear about some of your international travels, but first, let's quickly talk about Manchester. I've got a Manchester City jersey right here. I know you're a diehard fan. I'll throw it on for the pod.
Hey.
It's a great color on you.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. North Carolina blue.
Might be wearing too many layers right now. I'm going to start sweating seeds, but we'll see. Oh, I also have a Guinness hat.
Ah.
There we go. Oh, shit. Yeah. The Scully.
All right, now I got the full uniform on. So Manchester. Admittedly, I know more about Liverpool, but all I learned about Manchester from Scousers was that there's a big rivalry between those two cities. How did that come about?
Well, it started many years ago when Manchester was actually possibly the most important city in the world because of the textile and cotton trade, and the port of Liverpool was charging excessive levies on boats that were docking to send materials from all over the world to be processed into textile products to Manchester. So the way that Manchester circumvented that was by building something called the Manchester Ship Canal, which is a big canal which goes from the sea into Manchester. And the two cities have never quite seen eye to eye since that. Now, because that's based in that canal goes through the west of the city, Manchester United fans who tend to come from the north and west of the city, with City fans in the south and east, have had a lot more beef with Liverpool than City. And when those two teams play each other, it's like a poisonous atmosphere.
Yes, it is. Is there still a lot of violence at those games, or
No, it's got a lot better. There are pockets of trouble, but it's usually away from the stadium. When I was going to games in the 1980s, you had to be a little bit careful. People were not specifically targeting you, and I was a teenager in those days, but sometimes you had to run away from, just make sure you're well away from the trouble, because, I mean, people would just take it way too seriously, and if their team lost, well, you know, they had to support their team by having a go at the opponents.
Who is Man City's big rival?
United, the team in City. There's a bit of a rivalry with Liverpool because one or other of the two teams has won the last 9 or 10 Premier League, so they're very big games. It can decide who wins the league sometimes.
Okay. I mean, I kind of don't know. The only other thing I know about Manchester is the home of Oasis.
Oh, yes.
But was that after your time? Were you?
They were playing a lot in the 1990s, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
They're both big City fans, the brothers are, by the way.
Okay.
And they were brought up in a suburb not too far away from mine. I've actually met their father, who likes to play the odd Sunday night poker tournament and go to some of the well-known Irish bars, but I'm not sure they all get on together particularly well.
Are there a lot? I know there's a lot of Irish in Liverpool. Is that the same as Manchester?
Yes.
Okay.
But both cities have quite a strong Irish connection. And you'll find actually in Britain, obviously London's an exception, the Irish diaspora, if that's the right word, tended to concentrate on places that were close to the west coast and the Irish Sea.
Okay. I think, you'll find a lot of Irish all over the world. And that's why I think your concept of reviewing Guinness is great, because wherever you travel in the world, you'll find an Irish pub. Where's the most exotic place you've been to an Irish pub, or the strangest Irish pub you've been to?
Well, I've been to a few places in China which have them. I was very surprised to get quite a decent pint in Ningbo in China, which is a bit off the beaten track for Western tourists. Is there anywhere else I've been to? Yes, I've been to an Irish pub in Peru, but they were serving canned Guinness, not draft.
Okay.
But I did manage to explain to the owner that playing old-fashioned English songs probably wasn't the best thing to play, and so, to play the Dubliners and some more traditional Irish tunes, and he accepted the advice and changed over to those, because the guy who ran the pub was actually, I think, Peruvian. He was definitely a Latin American gent.
Oh, okay. Because a lot of the times the Irish pubs in China that I've been to are actually run by an Irish guy.
Yeah. The one in Ningbo, I think the guy who ran it was Polish.
Okay.
And I actually went there twice because it's a popular city for them to hold some of the bridge events I go to there. And the first time, I had to go round behind the bar and show a couple of the staff how to actually pour the stuff properly. Second time I went, the quality's got a lot better because I told the boss, make sure the lines are cleaned, the lines are short, and make sure that your cooling system is spot on and, if possible, close to the tap.
So you could almost be like a Guinness consultant around the world.
My knowledge of the technology would have to be polished up, but I mean, I could do that if I so wished to.
You know the basics.
Yeah.
I think for me, most exotic Irish bar was I hiked up to Everest Base Camp, and they've got a spot. It's the last kind of town before you're just, on the mountain, staying at these small lodges, and they have an Irish pub there. And I heard all about it. I think it's like known as the highest elevated Irish pub in the world, and they have these donkeys actually hike up the kegs. So like I passed a bunch of donkeys. They each had a keg on either side, but they didn't have any Guinness.
Oh dear.
They didn't have any Guinness. They did have another type of beer. I forget what it was, and they had Jameson. So I was able.
Okay.
Maybe Harp. I was able to take a shot of Jameson, but that was a disappointment. I wonder if it's technically, owned by local entrepreneur Dawa Sherpa.
Long time story, Dawa Sherpa.
Yeah, it's in a town called Namche Bazaar, which is 3,450 meters above sea level, or 11,318 feet.
You get drunk pretty quickly.
Yeah.
You do. You got to be very careful.
Even off of 4.1% alcohol by volume.
Mm-hmm. They were, if I was actually planning on going to the top of Everest, I don't think I would have stopped for a pint, but I was like, oh, whatever. I'm only going to base camp, and you only need 2 pints to get a good buzz.
Yeah. Can I explain to your viewers what ABV means? Because when we talk about something being 4.1 or 4.2, it's the average. So you could get a keg that's 4.2 or 4.3. You could get one that's 4.0 because it's impossible to get everything spot on. And a lot of people mistakenly think that it means that every single pint that you have is of exactly that alcoholic volume.
All right.
I never thought about it from that perspective.
I don't think I knew that either. So you talked about you started making content during the lockdown, but what is a lock-in?
A lock-in is something you get a lot in Ireland, sometimes in Britain, and very occasionally in the US at spots I possibly couldn't name, whereby the bar and friends of the bar stay for after-hours drinking. Obviously, the doors are locked, the blinds are down so that they can't be raided, and sometimes these can go on for a long time. I remember once in Wexford in the southeast of Ireland, after having been to one of the islands off the south coast of Ireland, driving along, and then eventually I thought, I'm knackered, I've got a flight tomorrow to France from Dublin. I'll just park up here and stay the night. Had my dinner, heard some great traditional music at a pub, had a look in, I'll go in, I'll just have one. And then the next time I looked at my watch, having chatted with the owner, his brother and his brother's wife, and brought each other around, it was 4 a.m, and I thought, oh no, what am I going to do? That is a lock-in.
Yeah, it's a great concept. And like, once they kind of close the bar down, close the doors and the blinds, do they really not want people leaving until like 4 or 5?
No, you can go whenever
you can leave, but just as soon as you leave, you're not allowed back in.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to, they probably would let you, but I mean, usually you leave when you've had enough.
Okay. And he actually went to, we're not going to name the name of the bar, but he went to a lock-in here in Chicago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'd like to get to one of those. It seems fun. It's like a nice, cozy atmosphere. It's like, it's not like you're going to an all-night rave. It's just a bunch of friends locked in a bar drinking all night.
Yeah.
But you need to clear the decks the next morning. I wouldn't advise having stuff to do after one of those.
No, not at all. Your 2 most recent trips abroad, you were telling me, were Spain and China. Mm-hmm. Were those 2 trips to play bridge?
Spain, no, was for food reviewing, and I also have things I need to do in Madrid because I organise an event every summer, a bridge event, with a difference. Heavily food and drink based, of course, and China was for bridge.
Okay. Now, do you think the reputation that Brits abroad have is warranted?
Unfortunately, yes. I actually used to avoid Spain like the plague because I wasn't good at working out how things actually are, and obviously you get influenced by television, and so I thought Spain was just full of English lager louts and women throwing up in the streets at 5 a.m. And because I got a blood clot in my leg once, I had to drive all around Europe, and I stopped in various places in Spain, which weren't the usual cost of this, cost of that, Benidorm and Ibiza, where everybody's raving away. And I thought, oh, this is wonderful. I got to my hotel very late at 11 p.m. I thought, there's no chance I can get something to eat here. And they brought me a cheese and charcuterie platter and some red wine. I couldn't eat it. It was that big. And then I realised that these people like myself, they're late-night people, and their food and drink is wonderful, their architecture's great, they keep it old school. I suddenly realised, actually, this is my sort of place.
Yeah. There's a reason it's so popular.
Yeah.
But if you go to, like, one of the popular resort towns and you get too many Brits in one place, I guess, like, Spain and Greece is where you hear people talk about it the most, where you're like, oh, no, here come the Brits abroad.
Yeah, I avoid those places. If I see, like, a hallucinogenic yellow illustration of a paella for one, which is supposed to be an enormous plate, and it's served in the east of Spain, or stuff like egg and chips, and we're talking about British-style fries rather than crisp potato crisps here. I avoid those places like the plague. And I loved the place so much, I made an effort to learn a bit of Castilian Spanish, which people over here from Latin America keep correcting me on because
Okay. Do you have you kept track, like, could you rank the top 5 countries for a pint of Guinness?
I think I probably could, actually. Obviously, Ireland is number 1.
Yes.
Britain is number 2. I would say the United States is number 3. And I would say Spain, funnily enough, probably number 4. But that's because of the volume of British visitors, and some Irish as well, who actually want to be able to drink Guinness. And I'd say probably, funnily enough, and this is of the countries where I've been and tried it, Singapore's not bad, actually.
I mean, yeah, Singapore, that's got to be one of the most diverse cities on earth. They've got a lot of English, a lot of Irish, Americans, Chinese, and yeah, they're kind of like, most of what they have is top notch. It's like a luxurious place where there's a lot of fancy stuff.
Yes.
So when they serve a Guinness, they're like, we have to do it right.
Yeah. Well, a lot of muttonistas over there. I was a bit surprised by how many there actually were.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of foreign fans just with how much you travel and stuff. So you've been to Asia a bunch.
Yeah.
Me and you have both spent a lot of time in China. Do you have a favorite place from Asia in general?
Yeah, that's quite a big part of China. I really like Sichuan province because of all the historical stuff and the quite viciously spicy food. I think you know yourself that Chinese food can be a lot spicier than people would think.
Yeah, and Sichuan food, I'd say, one of my favorite types of Chinese food. What people in America don't realize is that they have the la spice, which is the normal spice we're used to in America. It kind of burns your tongue. But then they have the ma spice, which is the numbing sensation, which comes from the Sichuan peppercorns. You can find a couple spots in the U.S. that like make a really good numbing sauce. Like, do you think you've tried that, Chaps?
I don't think so.
Okay, for this, I think that I know one place in Chicago that can make some like good Don Don noodles that will really numb your mouth.
What's a non-Chinese equivalent? Is there one? I'm trying to think of anything.
No, it
that's
kind of, because
numbing.
the flavor just comes from something called the Sichuan peppercorn. which I'm sure you've probably tried in food in like small amounts, but they pack it on out in Sichuan.
So is it still tingly or?
Yeah,
Okay.
makes your tongue tingle. I love it. I would say.
I do like that kind of spice more so than like normal crazy high capsicum count. Like I
that
like
just
a
burns your
horseradish.
mouth.
I like that kind of spice too.
No, I think you would really enjoy it, and that's why I've loved Sichuan. I don't know much about the history of it. I know it's home of the pandas.
Yeah. I saw those in a very interesting enclosure. I didn't know there were red pandas as well, which are tiny. I mean,
Look like raccoons.
that sort of size. Yeah.
Did you make it to Chongqing?
I did, yeah, and I love the Chongqing Hot Pot. It's something obviously you can get in Chengdu as well, and you can get one also just with fish heads, which I love, but the Chongqing one, and whenever I show up with my Chinese friends, including the famous Mr. Fu, who I've known for decades, they all say, oh, we must make it mild for him, and thankfully he says, no, he wants it hot, and I know he's saying that because I know the word la means spicy over there.
Yes. Yeah, that's something that I think like most other cultures just think like no white people can handle spice. So wherever you go, whether it's Mexico or China, they're always like, are you sure we can like make this how we make it? And it's like, yeah, I know. I'd say, yeah, probably half the white people I know really don't like spice. Half the people of the whites I know love it.
Yeah, I used to not like it at all. I'm kind of coming around on it.
I will say this about the Sichuan hot pot, the Chongqing hot pot. It was great going in my body. It was not great going out.
Yeah, we have a good phrase in Britain, remember to put the toilet roll in the fridge before you go to bed.
That's good.
I
mean, that's one of the best parts about like eating spicy food here is I have a bidet that uses my normal water line. So in the winter time here, like that water coming out of the bidet has to be like 45 degrees, 50 degrees. It's better than a cup of coffee in the morning.
Have you ever tried refrigerated toilet paper?
I would love it. Honestly, like if you combine that and if something like a wet wipe wasn't terrible for your pipes, if you were having stomach issues and you had like a refrigerated wet wipe, that would be an unbelievable situation going on. Be way better.
That's genius.
And I wouldn't recommend having that sort of food if you've got to travel or do things the next day, because to use another British phrase, sometimes you sit down on the throne, you read the Financial Times, and you get as far as the company report section.
When I had Chengdu hot pot the night before I played an American football game out in China, and pooped myself on the field. Not ideal.
And of course, we have Hunan food, and is it an adjacent? I think Hunan's an adjacent province to Sichuan, but
could be.
They base their spice on chilies. But in all these cities now, they have the most amazing food streets where you can just walk around from street food stall to street food stall. And I've got some videos on my YouTube channel, which are a long way from being edited and published, but they are kind of timeless. And I illustrate what a wonderful time as a foodie you can have just going from stall to stall. And obviously in the West a lot of us like sweet and sour, and you probably know that it's actually, whilst it's a Sichuan dish, it's a lot more sour than sweet over there. And amazingly, the best thing I had at the Chongqing street food area was sweet and sour potatoes, something I wouldn't have thought would have been my best dish.
That sounds good. When you were in Sichuan, did you ever have a rabbit head?
Yes, yeah, that's very popular. I've also
Don't
had
knock rabbit heads.
I never would. I love rabbit.
viciously spicy rabbit stomach from Zhejiang, which is famous also for its salt production. And again, everybody around me, apart from my friend Mr. Fu, was trying to say, oh, he can't eat this, he can't eat it. it was easy. Or as we say in Britain, it was a piece of piss.
It's a piece of piss.
I love these British phrases.
I know,
They're all so good.
We're gonna have to do a segment towards the end where you can just like teach us all your slang terms.
Yeah, I love it.
And, like, has there been some food that you weren't able to eat or that you really didn't like from your travels?
In terms of spice, occasionally in Thailand, the salads are the ones that are so spicy that it's a struggle to get them down. It's an exercise in masochism rather than something that's tasty. So I always ask for them to be quite spicy, although sometimes when you say anything that tempers the spiciness level, they make it too bland sometimes. But I try and say very spicy, but not Thai spicy. Other than that, yeah, it's there's not much that I don't eat. Occasionally, I've had stuff which doesn't smell good, or when you put it into your mouth, it tastes a bit off, and sometimes I've not stopped myself from having it. I don't think there's a cuisine that I've had that I don't like. I'm not wild about some of these African cuisines where it's basically some mushy root staple with a load of, well, okay, but not particularly exciting sauces or meats and gravies. But other than that,
Okay.
Let's say you have a day to design and I give you a time portal where you can just transfer yourself anywhere instantly. Where you eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
wow, that would definitely be Spain. I would say probably Seville. I lived there for a while when I was studying a bit of Spanish, and I go really light on breakfast there because there's so much to have during the day. So I'd just have a slice of tortilla and a piece of bread for breakfast. The runnier the better for me with the tortilla.
Yeah.
Again, in Britain, I don't know what it's like here. If you go to a Spanish place, the tortillas, it should be at least moist, and it's like hard, and it's just been warmed up in a microwave.
I've seen the Great British Baking Show. Their Mexican episode was an abomination to the Lord. Like, the way that they cook tacos, I was like, this is a travesty.
Mexican food in Britain is it's best avoided. There are some okay places.
I made some enchiladas, and I was like,
But,
no one should eat that.
Then I think for lunch, I'm massive on cold soups like gazpacho. There's another thicker tomato-based one from Cordoba called salmorejo, which I like as well, and a cold almond soup called ajo blanco. Because the weather's so hot there, I think Seville's the hottest city in Europe. It's quite a refreshing thing to have. And then, another thing I'm obsessed with, raw meat and fish, tartare, ceviche, carpaccio, and their best tartare down there is pork tartare. A lot of people think it's not safe, but if the animals have been reared properly on vegetation, it's perfectly safe. We used to get problems with underdone pork because they fed them on the carcasses of sheep, and whatever they got from those dead sheep they passed on to us. But as an example, the last case of Trinchinella in the British pig fleet, 1978. And if you think about it, Spanish restaurants are not poisoning their customers, and they are also not a nation of people carrying tapeworm in their stomachs.
Yeah.
And the tartare is beautiful, as is the carpaccio with the truffle and parmesan. And the reason is, you must have heard of the sort of Iberian ham, Iberian.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah.
If you order a beef tartare, which is the one that people are more familiar with, you'll get a nice cut of beef, but you won't get the best. I mean, you're not going to have like Wagu, Matsuzaka or Kobe or whatever. But when you have the pork tartare, you are getting it from Presa Iberica, from the best pigs that are available. So it actually makes for a tastier tartare or carpaccio.
Yeah, I've had that from Heritage Hog. Have you ever had a Heritage Hog?
No.
While you're in the States, you should see if you can find a restaurant that has Heritage Hogs.
Okay.
It's like the old line of pig, essentially.
Okay.
And so, like, a lot of the marbling that is kind of bred out of pigs now,
okay.
it exists a lot more in the Heritage Hogs, and it makes unbelievable.
Okay.
It's so good.
And whatever cut of pork you have, can you have it like medium or medium rare? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I've got one spare day before I go back across the Atlantic, so I might well do that.
All right.
Can you find heritage hog here in Chicago?
I would bet you could.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago used to be the slaughterhouse center of the entire country. It's where they killed all the pigs. Yeah, so like heritage hogs, it's kind of like America's attempt at creating their own Iberian ham.
And there's also a Texas kind of Wagu, like they can't call it Wagu, but I think it's called Akiashi is what it's called, but it's like the Texas version of Wagu. So we're trying to have those high-level meats from here, too.
Calling it Akiashi sounds like some cultural appropriation right there.
Well, it's no problem in Texas. It's fine.
No.
Okay, well, I feel like Sunday could be a pretty meaty day then.
There you go.
Yeah, Chicago's one hell of a food city.
I know exactly where it has it. There's a restaurant called Frontier in Chicago that they have heritage hogs there.
You can also get an alligator there.
They have antelope.
Yeah, antelope, maybe kangaroo. I don't know.
You can do a full suckling pig if you call ahead. They'll do a full pig roast. That might be a good place for a muttonista to meet up. Is having a heritage hog
or just a little food vlog.
Yeah.
In Japan I had raw horse, which was surprisingly good. Now you mentioned like you're a huge fan of traditional Chinese food, like authentic Chinese food.
Yeah.
But you don't really love the westernized Chinese food as much.
It's sweet and light, and it's really been bastardized for Western tastes.
Yes.
My friends in China, when some of them do actually come to the United States because they're bridge players as well, and they obviously know what sweet and sour is. They know what, say, orange beef is, but I asked them, do they know what General Tso's chicken is? And they said, well, we've all heard of it, but we don't actually know what it is. So it's best to have the authentic stuff, and every cuisine is the same.
See, I love authentic Chinese food, but I still have a special place in my heart for American Chinese.
Okay.
Mainly General Gao's, and have you ever had a crab rangoon?
Yes.
You have. Now, is there any place in the UK where you can find a crab rangoon?
No.
Okay. So you've only had it here in the US?
Yeah.
Okay.
But anything that's deep fried and tasty, and there's quite a good chili sauce or chili oil, even better to dip it in. I quite like those sorts of things. So.
Yeah, it's hard to hate on a crab rangoon, but they definitely don't have them in China. Those were invented in San Francisco, I think.
Yeah. And I've actually been, not just in terms of Chinese food, to places mainly in the Indian subcontinent where we have dishes named after them in Britain. For example, a Madras curry. Everybody likes a chicken Madras. I went to Chennai, and with the exception of one place that was so touristy, trying to catch on to tourists, it didn't actually exist.
Yeah.
I've been to Peshawar in Pakistan, and the Peshwari naan that's really quite sweet with raisins and a bit of coconut sometimes in it. I couldn't find one there, although apparently they do just about exist. So it's amazing how restaurants pick up on place names to describe dishes, but they're not actually authentic.
Mm-hmm. I've heard many people say London has the best Indian food in the whole world. Do you believe that?
No, I think India and then Singapore have the best. The difference is, and London's probably the best place, or Britain's the best place to have Indian food outside of the Indian subcontinent and parts of Southeast Asia with an Indian population. I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard that it's about fresh spices and dried spices being one of the big differences. And, again, them toning down the food. And when people have spicy dishes in Britain, it's all basically chili heat or chili powder heat, whereas in India and Pakistan itself, it's quite a range of spices that can make something more spicy.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Indian restaurants, there's more Indian restaurants in London than there is in India.
I can believe
that are classified as Indian cuisine. That's crazy. Is that
I
crazy?
Well,
can't
because
get my
like
head-
when
'cause it's
you're
like
in India, it's just cuisine.
Right, it's different
Yeah.
styles of Indian
Yeah,
food. There's
yeah.
more restaurants labeled as Indian restaurants in London than there are in India. That's crazy.
That is wild. When you traveled to India, were you trying the street food, or were you only eating at fancy restaurants?
The first time I went, which was sometime in the mid to late 90s, I'd read all the advice from people who thought they know what they were talking about but didn't. It was, just stick to 5-star hotels, and obviously you should drink bottled water, that's clear. But I was there for a few days and it was okay. I mean, I remember actually landing off the plane thinking, I'm itching for a curry here, and then I see everything's a bit different. And rather than just knocking up a curry from a pan, they make them early in the morning because they do gain flavour as they sit in their hot tray, which is not the same with most food. It's like a piece of meat will just dry out. And then the second time, I thought, no, I need to do something a bit more interesting. And I was looking around on Google, TripAdvisor, and I saw a company called Delhi Street Food Walks. And
Okay.
I painstakingly looked through all of the reviews, and not just people leaving one review, which is usually fake. People who've done a few hundred reviews. They're mainly from Europe, North America, South America, and not a stomach upset between them. So I thought this is a good opportunity to go walking around Old Delhi and try really raw, really authentic stuff. And they kept taking us to places to the point where I'd said, I can't take any more, I'm absolutely stuffed. But it was one of the most brilliant things I ever did, and it helped inspire me to make some of my food videos, because I remember that. I think there are so many people who come to these places and they won't risk trying these places. And
That was me.
Yeah, well, we all were like that at some stage, and
Yeah.
and now, you know, people are going around trying these places. It's just knowledge about knowing how to find the right places to go to.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's a good travel hack. If you go to Delhi, sign up for one of those food tours. I don't recommend just going out on your own and stopping at any random food stall.
Yeah, yeah. There's a way of telling usually, although obviously I have been sick in some places, but I've got quite a good way of dealing with it. So,
Putting the toilet paper in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
yeah, I got very sick in, not very sick, a bit sick in, where was it? Lahore in Pakistan. And you just let it all flush out for as long as it takes, and then hit it with Imodium. I know they say that you're only supposed to do that as a temporary fix if you have to travel, but I just find it works for me. And after one rough night, I was back at the crease again.
Back at the crease?
Yeah.
Is that another slang term?
Yeah. Like you're batting again, so it means you're going around reviewing again.
Oh, batting. So in cricket, is that what they?
Yeah.
The crease is like when you're up at
when
home
you're
plate.
batting and somebody bowls at you, and then in the long form of the game you have 2 innings, so you get another go. So,
Back at the crease. You also seem like a very responsible drinker. I mean, obviously, alcohol is a big part of your brand.
yeah.
Do you ever find yourself getting too drunk?
Not when I'm filming. I'm very, very disciplined about what I do and the quantities I have. So a normal day's filming will be mostly doing both YouTube and Instagram content, sometimes just the Instagram or just the YouTube, but I'll go to 3, maybe 4 pubs, and I'll drink the first one quite slowly and talk to the viewers about the pub, the history, the experience, the location, and the pint. And then for the second pint, I will try and split the G, because people like that sort of thing. Or so sometimes it's an independent stout where it doesn't come into it. And then I'll take the big glug 30% of the glass and the video is over in a minute because people like these short form videos. But I get people trying to thrust extra pints at me, which I have to refuse. And here in Chicago, there's an obsession with people offering me Malört and shots of Malört. And I have to say that if I drink one of those, whilst I'm going to be perfectly fine after it, videoing pint 8 wherever it is, if I have a 4-pub day, it's a struggle enough as it is. It's probably going to mean I can't do it, so I say no. I never drink at home unless it's a family birthday or something like that, and people think I'm at it every day. I'm not. My average day is actually a day doing stuff like editing, uploading, watching sports, and actually not drinking.
Yeah, well, you're actually not allowed to drink if you're at a Man City game, right?
Yeah, you can in the concourse, but not within sight of the pitch. So you can't take a drink to your seat. So you can have one, well, as many as you want before the game and as many as you think you can get through at half time. But I prefer to go to the pub before the game, sometimes just have one at half time, and then do my post-match wrap at a pub afterwards, because you're getting a better beer. Stadia, well, monopolistic abuse, plastic cups, although actually in the United States, 2 of the 3 stadia I went to had these metal cups. I think they're aluminium or aluminum, as you say. They're actually better than plastic cups for drinking beer.
You mentioned that you play Split the G with your fans. Yeah. I've got a gripe with that. I always thought the Guinness game was trying to drink and get it in between the harp and the Guinness. And that's like, when I went to Ireland, that's how they were playing it too. But then like everybody here in the US is talking about splitting the G. What's the right way to play the game?
Well, I'd say there's no right way to play the game in terms of where you get the bottom of the head to after the first gulp. Split the G is not official. 10 years ago, nobody had heard of it. The key is to get through the foam, the head, and a good gulp of the black liquid. It doesn't matter where it ends up on the glass. If you don't drink enough of it, you'll basically be getting a mouthful of the foam or the head. And if you drink too much of it, well, you're not enjoying the drink properly. I would say, actually, splitting the G is possibly a little bit excessive, but people like it, and I don't want to get slaughtered by the Guinness police or anything like that, so
I like this split the G more because the G's, the middle part is totally flat, so you could get it way more precise.
Okay.
So like if you go there, you could have it almost exactly in line. You know, like one straight line across.
Yeah. I mean, on most Guinness pints, it's only like a small little line between the harp and the Guinness. I guess it's the same as on that can. Okay. Well, maybe tonight at the meet and greet, I'll try to split the G with you.
I'll probably try and do it a few times. And unfortunately, some places are a little bit cynical in terms of what they're selling and the glassware they're using. And what I mean is that the positioning of the G is cynically placed to make sure that people are drinking way more and ordering more quickly. Singapore was the worst example of this. It was only one bar.
Smart, though.
Yeah.
And I called it out, and of course some people called me out for calling it out. And I very, very rarely post anything negative, but this had to be called out. Plastic cup with the G about 4/5 of the way down a plastic cup, which was probably only, I don't know, about 60, 65 centilitres. I'm not quite sure on the metric, the imperial equivalent. And so if you split the G with your first gulp, you had one tiny mouthful left before you had to go to the bar and order again. And they were also charging, because it was St. Patrick's Day, the same amount that they would for a full imperial 5, 6, 7 or 20-ounce pint. And I thought that was reprehensible. Although I've seen one pub do something even worse than that, which I could tell you about.
Yeah, let's hear it.
And it's not to do with the glassware. It's to do with doing something that I should have filmed and they should have been called out for. I was at a Manchester City game in Madrid. The pub was packed out, and it's not the best pub to go to anyway. It's there because we were there because it was convenient. And a lot of people had left their Guinness. It was an Irish pub. And we have a term called minesweeping, which is usually something done by customers who don't want to pay for another drink, and they're drinking somebody's leftover
Okay, yeah.
of the drink.
We call it in America killing wounded soldiers.
Okay.
Sorry, chaps.
No disrespect taken.
The pub itself, I spotted them doing it. They were collecting the glasses, pouring these things into glasses instead of pouring a fresh one, and then giving it a tiny top up from the tap.
Oh.
That is one of the worst things I've ever seen.
That's foul. Yeah.
That is foul behavior.
I won't drink there again.
Yeah.
Although I
thank
found
God.
the only pub in
Yeah.
Madrid that serves up a very good pint, so I just go there now.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a bar do anything worse than that? No,
that's pretty egregious.
That's really egregious.
That's egregious, yeah.
I had a guy reach out on Instagram, and he was like, you got to ask Prime Mutton about his run-in with Paul Giamatti.
Oh, yes, that was quite interesting, that was. I was running late as usual for a meet-up at Hartley's, one of the, well, possibly the most famous Irish pub in Brooklyn. And whilst I wasn't late for the meet-up, I was late for an interview with The Guardian, which has just been published, and an ex-Guardian female journalist was there as well. She wanted to meet me. And I happened to need to go for, again, another British phrase, a quick slash, which means going for a pee. Was coming out of the restrooms, and some middle-aged man with a shaved head was out there waving away, and he pointed to me and gestured, so yeah, okay, go on. And he wanted a selfie, and I said, yeah, that's fine. And I didn't know who he was. And then when the female journalist said she wanted to be in the shot for the third photo, I thought, who is this? Is there something going on here? Why is she suddenly... She could have had one with just me if she wanted... Well, she did have one with just me.
Yeah.
And so then after he left, I think he might have been with his son, the Guardian journalist said, do you know who that is? I said, no, I haven't got a clue who that is. And then he said, oh, it's an Oscar-nominated actor, Paul Giamatti. So it's great that there are famous muttonistas. I don't know what he thought of me not actually knowing him, but what I am going to do is...
I'm sure he liked it.
I bet he loved it, yeah.
I'm going to download his film, I think it's Sideways.
Sideways, all about wine.
Yeah. So I'm going to watch that on the transatlantic flight in a few days' time.
Okay, nice. Have you had some other famous muttonistas reach out?
A few that you probably wouldn't know in the United States, who know that there are a couple of political commentators in Britain who like my stuff.
Okay.
And I am told that a couple of the Man City players like my stuff, but there are reasons apparently why they don't reach out to me. I suspect possibly having a few Guinness in midweek between games isn't something they're supposed to be doing. So I'm pretty sure they stick to their 48-hour rule of not having
as long as you
anything.
don't have a pint 48 hours before a match.
72 hours ago, if you shouldn't be going out on a session, but I know a few of them do.
I love that phrase, going out on a session.
Yeah.
It's a good phrase.
Sesh.
You got a lot of good phrases.
Yeah. Could we hear some more slang?
Well, something that's quite often done in Britain is using all sorts of verbs in the past tense to describe getting drunk.
Mm-hmm.
First,
Shattered.
or shedded.
Shedded.
The most common one is pissed. I know here it means you're angry with somebody. It means you're intoxicated. Fish and chips, we batter fish, so we use the word battered. That's another one. plastered.
Yep.
Mullered is another one, but that could mean that if you've beaten somebody 5-0 in a football match, you absolutely mullered them.
Okay.
But it could mean, if you say, I got completely mullered last night, it means you had a heavy one. So there are all those sorts of things. The police in Manchester are often referred to as the Dibble.
The Dibble.
Yeah, think of Top Cat, Officer Dibble.
Who's Top Cat? Was that a cartoon?
An old American cartoon.
Top Cat.
Yeah, I think I vaguely can picture that. What does mean like I'm absolutely knackered?
That means I'm really tired, I'm exhausted, and again, there are quite a few ways of saying that. I'm not sure I can think of any off the top of my head.
I recently found out that fanny meant vagina.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a 4-letter word beginning with C, which is used a lot in Britain, but I understand here.
Oh, yeah, we say it all the time. I love saying cunt, yeah.
I believe women aren't too keen on... so if you go to a football stadium in Britain, you'll hear a lot of that sort of industrial language, and it's accepted.
Industrial language?
People are coming around on it here. Like now, like if you're having like a nice outfit, if you're looking good before you go out, you're serving cunt.
Like girls will say that to each other?
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Also in the LGBTQ community, very popular phrase. Oh, he's coming out, he's serving cunt.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to be able to call my boys a cunt. Like, you cunt.
You can. Feel free. You can call me a cunt every time you see me.
A cheeky cunt.
Yeah.
Well,
Proper cunt.
I think it's more used to talk about people in a bad way. Like, if you think the referee was biased against you, oh, that referee was a right cunt last night.
A right
cunt. Something like that. Or somebody who's diddled you financially. Don't
diddled you financially?
As in...
I just got diddled financially.
It's a great one, too.
Yeah.
Added it to the lexicon.
You call him a cunt because... Or like if you're an employee and the accountants cut off some of your work benefits, you say that about him as well.
Yes. So I think, like, as you would say, diddled financially, we would say ripped off.
Yeah, we would use that as well. Right?
Okay.
Diddled financially is way better.
Yeah, dude, he fucking diddled me financially.
I love that.
Another good one I can think of, and I don't know if you use this here, if you're planning a session and a really heavy one, we're going out on a bender tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We use
but
that.
Usually it's for nose beers.
Yeah. Have you ever heard the term the Archbishop of Banterbury?
No, not sure.
Okay. I think that just means if you're really great at banter.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my lad's the Archbishop of Banterbury.
That's a good phrase, too.
I don't even know if they say that in the UK, but I saw it in a meme.
They probably won't now.
Okay.
We do have what we call urban dictionaries where you can look up all these things. And there's a magazine I often buy at airports and railway stations to read on journeys if I have time, called Viz, V-I-Z. And they've got a lot of great phrases there, like, for example, touching cloth.
Touching cloth? Don't know that
That
one.
means you're desperate to go for a dump. That does.
I'm touching cloth, like the poop is like out of your body and it's touching your pants.
Yeah.
I'm touching cloth. Okay. All right. Yeah.
A slightly more genteel one, a Glasgow salad.
Never heard that.
Well, Glasgow
Got some
is
friends from Glasgow.
And forgive me if anybody from Glasgow is listening to this.
There definitely are at least two.
The world leaders in heart disease and deep-fried foods. And so instead of a normal salad being like a green fix, it's a plate of fries or chips, as we call them.
Glasgow salad. Just get chicken tenders and fries and call it Glasgow salad.
Yeah.
American salad would work just as well.
Yeah. I was in Scotland when I had deep fried pizza, which was not like battered pizza. It was just a slice of frozen pizza thrown in a vat of oil.
Yeah, it's gross.
How was it?
It was good, but it was actually better than you'd think. But I didn't feel great afterwards.
Did you try the Glasgow souffle?
No, I tried some haggis.
Okay. The Glasgow souffle is not a souffle. It's a deep-fried Mars bar. Thrown into the same deep fat fire as the chips or the fish.
And the pizza.
Have you ever done the Texas State Fair or Minnesota State Fair?
No.
I bet you would love to do that if you like that kind of stuff, like the different fairs.
He never said he loves deep-fried Mars bars,
No,
to be
I
fair.
don't.
Oh, no.
I've not
Never
actually
mind.
tried one. I just have a mental block over having one.
Have you ever heard of the Texas State Fair?
No.
Oh, you should check it out. They have each year they'll have a competition of a different deep fried thing. So like people will enter in like a deep fried peanut butter and jelly sandwich, deep fried ice cream, deep fried basically anything under the sun.
Deep-fried Guinness.
Fried Guinness.
I found a photo of it.
Mutton's face is horrified.
Deep-fried Guinness. So, I mean, because I've seen deep-fried Coca-Cola at those fairs, so they probably just do it the same way. They just pour, I think, a little bit of, they pour a full Guinness into a little bit of batter, and then they just fry the batter.
Wow. I suspect in Ireland the Garda or the police would come after them.
I have a question for you about England.
Yeah.
Why can't you guys open up the windows more than 4 inches?
You mean in like a hotel room?
Yeah.
It's to
Or
stop
apartments,
people
right?
jumping out of them and committing suicide, apparently, which is an inconvenience for me because I like my rooms to be, particularly hotel rooms, to be ice cold, positively Arctic. And in Britain, very few places actually have air conditioning.
Yes, I learned
and the buildings are designed to trap heat during the winter rather than let it go out. So in summer, because obviously we're close to the sea, you also get a lot of humidity as well. So the hot days are very, very unpleasant in Britain. And I literally spend hours searching for hotels if I have to go somewhere with air conditioning. Sometimes I can't get them and I have to basically endure close to a sleepless night, but usually I can. But again, the accountants come in, 4-letter words beginning with C, and they have it set often centrally rather than individually room to room, and unless it gets to a certain temperature in the summer, it's switched off all the time.
Yeah, it's like that in a lot of Europe,
Yes.
I would say.
Not Spain, though. I mean, because it gets so hot in Spain, and so you just have to have it. Even in the south of Spain, I had some, what for me, are pretty hot days in, say, November and early December.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you've been to the Middle East, like
I have, yeah, quite
like
a few places.
Dubai, Abu Dhabi, or
Yeah, I've been to. I love flying with Qatar Airways. I think they're the best in the world, so I often stop over. 2 6-hour flights for me is better than a 12-hour flight. And if you're ever lucky enough to go on a Qatar A380, and I shouldn't be doing this when I'm flying on business to do business, i.e. playing a bridge event, what I do is I make sure I arrive a few days earlier. They have a bar upstairs on the A380s, and most of the passengers
I've seen photos of those.
Yeah.
I've never been on one, so that's a Qatar Airways
they have
plane?
them on Emirates as well, but it's a smaller bar.
Yeah, it's an actual bar on the plane where you can they've got like maybe 6 stools or something.
That's sick.
Yeah.
More a more spacious area on Qatar, and I usually spend most of the journey there. It's better than sitting in a seat.
For sure. Wouldn't even feel like you were on a flight.
I know, because I will gladly go and sit on a bar stool drinking beers for
Dude,
7 hours.
Yeah. Well, it's more champagne and wine because it's so good, the stuff you get there, but also a lot of water as well, because when you're flying, it's got twice the effect. So I always basically have, for every drink, I have 1 glass of water as
Smart.
well.
Yeah. I know that Dubai has something called the Irish Village, where it's like it's a sprawling, officially licensed outdoor venue that serves Guinness shepherd's pie and hosts rock concerts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes the Guinness is from a can, and people who want to go looking for Guinness, I can't say for sure about the UAE, but in Qatar, if you're there just after Ramadan, they won't have had any deliveries for a while, so the whole country was Guinness, effectively, apart from somewhere which had a few cans. And even if somebody had a bit sloshing over from before Ramadan, I mean, that's like a month of it not being pulled out of the keg at all. I've also been to places like Egypt and Lebanon and Eastern Turkey, and they're actually a bit more authentic than the plastic experience you get in
Dubai.
I mean, they are petrodollar states. And funnily enough, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, you can't get a drink there. That's got quite a lot of its old stuff still there as well. And it's opened up incredibly. It's not what you think it is.
Yeah.
At all.
I even heard that Saudi Arabia was going to be opening their first bar because they're trying to become more foreign friendly.
Yeah, but I think it's only for foreign diplomats and stuff like that. They have opened one somewhere.
Okay.
And there was some talk of them allowing it for the 2034 World Cup. I was there for the 2023 Club World Cup, and there was definitely nothing available there. But I mean, I can
feel like, because I was at the World Cup in Qatar, and you couldn't drink at the games or buy a beer outside of the stadiums, but there was enough bars and areas in the city where you could drink. That fans were happy enough. It would be hard to believe that Saudi Arabia would do a completely dry World Cup, but
that's what they're saying.
See.
That's what they're saying.
It's going to be a completely dry World Cup.
I don't think they care. They're going to do what they're going to want it.
They're going to go, and they don't really even care if some fans don't come.
Right.
Yeah.
Because people are going to go. I mean, no matter what,
soccer fans are going to go. Yeah, I think even the alcoholic soccer fans probably like soccer a little bit more than booze.
Yeah,
I would hope.
True. That's true. I was happy to go for.
I mean, I was surprised you said Man City. You couldn't even drink till halftime. I didn't know that.
Well, you do it. Man City, I guess, in England, you can drink in the concourse.
Yeah.
Right, I'm saying, but even that.
Only before the game and at halftime, they close whilst the first half's on, and then they close up for good. So if there's extra time, then you can't get anything. But, I mean, most of us have been down to the pub beforehand and had enough beforehand. And
is that Premier League wide?
Yes, FA Cup, everything. But if you watch, say, rugby or a cricket game, you are allowed to take your drinks to your seat.
Mm-hmm. But in a lot of Europe, I'm not even sure if you can drink in the stadiums, or at least when I went to an AC Milan Liverpool game, you couldn't drink in the stadium at all.
Let me think. France, Italy, Spain, Portugal, you can't drink in the stadium. I can't remember what it was in the Netherlands, but in Belgium and Denmark and Germany, you can. And to the point where I remember away at Dortmund, people were carrying these big things, and so we were standing in old-fashioned terracing, which I didn't know existed anymore, but they have some for the away fans there. It was spilling all over the place. I was holding my camera, and I was so glad the game was 0-0, because if we'd have scored, there would have just been this surge forward with people slipping all over the place. And so it does depend where you are.
Okay. Well, do you have anything you'd like to add before we wrap this up?
Yeah, a couple of things. Firstly, I would advise people, if you want to go somewhere and you have the time and money, don't hesitate. Go and do it and see it. I mean, something might happen to yourself, or you might not be able to go and visit certain places. There are places that I wanted to visit, I hesitated, and I doubt I'll get the chance to go. I'll give you two examples. In the 90s, I nearly went to a bridge event in Syria, of all places, and it was quite stable back then. And this is like a decade before the Islamic State came along. And there's so many interesting things to see which have mostly been blown up. And at the same time, it was possible to visit Yemen, which is now such a basket case, so I can't see myself ever going there. And the other thing that I learnt off the late, great Anthony Bourdain is that don't make a rigid itinerary. Sure, there are some things you have to see. If you go to India, you have to see the Taj Mahal. If you go to Paris, you have to see the Eiffel Tower and the Arc de Triomphe. But don't have this massive hit list and a rigid itinerary. Let it flow, and I think you'll get some better experiences.
Great advice.
Yeah, spot on. Although I did go to India and not see the Taj Mahal. Yeah, I'll go back someday. But yeah, no, that is spot on advice. I think a lot of people are tempted because they get kind of nervous about going to a foreign country that they'll sign up for some guided tour where like every hour of your week is already planned out for you.
Yeah.
And there's not as much fun in that.
No, just do it up. I don't know how best to say it. Just do it on the spur of the moment, or just wing it, basically, when you get there. And I've been back to some places again, thinking, oh, I might have the same experience if I go and try and do the same thing. It doesn't happen like that.
Mm-hmm. Spot on. Chaps, you got anything you want to add?
No, just thanks for coming on, bud. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. It was a great chat we've just had.
Yeah, and maybe we'll throw a few clips in the YouTube episode of our meet and greet tonight.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
In the episode. Cool.
And hopefully we'll have a few absolute creamers.
Yeah, there we go.
I think that's the first time he said it on the whole pod.
Yeah, there it is.
I don't want to I know how it is to have a catchphrase and just being like, say it again.
And they were absolute creamers the last time I was here on my American standard. So it would be like a creamer in England or a very good pint in Ireland. Funnily enough, better than at the Dublin Storehouse where they serve you a really poor pint. So everybody who comes along today, and I guess they'll see this video after we've actually been, I think you're going to have a great experience and a great pint.
There it is.
Thank you, Mutton.
Today's episode of Drop a Pin is brought to you by our friends at Hey Dudes. Me and Donnie got to put them to the test. We've been talking a lot about it on the pods, the Hey Dudes, and how great they are. We've even mentioned the Hey 2O, which I'm wearing right now. You can see it on the YouTube. These bad boys were unbelievable on the boat. I didn't slip and slide at all.
Yeah, they are the perfect summer shoe, whether you're at the beach, on a boat, at a lake. They're just easy to slip on and off. It doesn't matter if you get them wet. I love them. I'm hooked on Hey 2Os.
Yeah, we got wet, obviously, from being out on the boat, and then immediately went to the airport, and these were dry by the time I got to the airport. Unbelievable shoe for an unbelievable price. Go to heydude.com today to get yours today. They have, whether you just want some that are just around your house that are good for, I absolutely love them for barbecuing too.
Yeah.
You could slip them on so easy. I forget a million things now that I use like a black top all the time, like a griddle. I constantly have to go inside to get more like tongs or like paper plates or paper towels or something like that.
Yep.
And my wife, I'm a no shoes on the house guy.
Yep.
Hey Dudes are
Asian
life-saving.
rules. So if you just have a pair of indoor shoes, they're perfect for that.
Yep. So go to heydudes.com today to get your pair of shoes. Let's keep going with the pod.
Drop a Pin is also brought to you by Mountain Dew. Summer is in full swing. So whether you're at a baseball game, a barbecue, the beach, or on a boat, enjoy those activities with a fresh Mountain Dew. They got the new can design, which just screams the outdoors. And summer's all about getting outdoors and doing the do.
You know what? A little AMSR. Yeah. The Mountain Dew can. It's got that little retro vibe, but it's like, hey, we're in Colorado. You want a little bit of citrus to go along with your mountains? That's where Mountain Dew's at, baby.
Yeah, this would look great on a t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
But
it'll probably be on the t-shirt when we go to Camp Barstool because Mountain Dew is like a huge sponsor for that.
Yes.
So it should be great. Everybody loved it last year, so we're going back from August 18th to the 22nd this year. Same spot, but Jerry O'Connell was just announced that he'll be there too. Mm-hmm. Mountain Dew and Jerry O'Connell.
Yeah, shout out to Mountain Dew for making Camp Barstool happen. Like, I did go to summer camp for a few years when I was young, but it was cool seeing all the other employees that like had never been to summer camp and getting up there, getting in the cabin and just having so much fun.
Yeah, but my only camp experiences were like church camp. So it was a different vibe.
Yeah. Also, the camp my parents sent me to was like a month-long sleepaway. That's a little too long. This is the perfect time. We're just going to be up there for like 4 days. And, it's towards the end of the summer. And so it's like, that's when you start to be like, oh no, I don't feel like I fully got the most out of this summer. Well, we are going to get the most out of our summers up at camp with a cold Mountain Dew in our hands.
And we might even experience a little love.
Love?
Yeah, love. We'll see if old Kate and White Sox Dave could rekindle their flame from last year.
Oh yeah. Are they a thing?
I don't know. Many people are saying that they could be.
Okay,
What is a thing is the new thing that's Mountain Dew's can. Go get you some Mountain Dew wherever you're at. You know where to buy a Mountain Dew. If you don't, where have you been your whole life?
Do the do. Nice to meet you.
And you sorry I'm a bit late, but
Yeah.
sometimes I say to people, I've only ever been on time for my birth.
Oh, well, we have nothing planned today except for talking to you, so no worries. Would you like a tour of the office first?
Yeah, I'll have a look.
Yeah. I think we do have some Guinness if you want one.
No, too early in the day for me.
Too early?
And I'll tell you what, after 30 days of going around the United States reviewing, I'm quite happy to have a little time not drinking. So,
Sure. Well, we also have a soft serve ice cream machine if you want another type of creamer.
Okay.
Jacob,
Hi, pleased to meet you.
he's a member of our cream team. It's his job to make sure that our soft serve ice cream is prime at all times.
Are you joining us tonight at the open gate?
Unfortunately, I cannot.
Well, you can make it up to him by serving him a good cone of cream.
I would be honored.
Fantastic.
Is it a certified creamer?
Yeah, I believe that. I'll have to have a taste.
Yeah, of
though,
course,
you know,
of
I'll have
course.
to check that there are no additional bitter flavours in there. Soft serve ice cream at Barstool Sports, Muttonistas. It's an absolute cream.
Let's go. Way to go, Jacob. Nicely done. That's huge.
You've got a little cream in your stash.
Okay. That's what happens when I drink a pint.
So we are in front of the meet and greet. People are already lining up to get pictures with Prime Mutton. Oh, let's go.
Has the event started or not
No,
yet? We were holding you up.
we're gonna go in now. Can we get this guy a pint?
Good evening, Muttonistas. Great to see such a turnout here. I know that I was shown a lot of love on my previous brief visit to Chicago. I will give you the Guinness review so you can all hear it over a microphone when I've actually had a few slurps of this. I can tell you that the pint was fantastic last time I was here, and I certified it an absolute creamer when I was here a couple of weeks ago. I want to first of all thank Guinness for hosting this event, because I know that it was put on at pretty short notice. In terms of what you actually look for in terms of a pint of Guinness, the key word is balance. And a big problem I have in the United States is that I get a lot of pints which are way too bitter. But here, they do actually keep it pretty well. And something that might surprise you, in my opinion, the Guinness you get here is better than at the Guinness Storehouse exhibition in Dublin. So if you all enjoy yourselves for a bit, I'm going to have this pint, and when I'm on to my second pint, I'll give you the review, because actually that's, for me, when the Guinness is at its best, when you're on the Before we actually get to a review for the crowd, this one's actually been sitting around for a while, and as I said, the second and third pints you have are usually the best ones, but I'll check to see if it's as good as it was last time. Yeah, it is, and as I said, the second one will taste even better, because I had an espresso before I came out, which might take the flavour of it. So I'm hoping I'll be able to say those hallowed words, absolute creamer, when I have the second one. Good evening, Muttonistas. Muttonistas, I'm back in Chicago after my incredibly rushed trip a few weeks ago, and I did come to the Guinness Open Gate Brewery on that occasion, but didn't tell anybody that I was coming here. This time I've told you all, and what a gathering, a massive Muttonista meetup. As usual, I arrived a bit late, but that means that you, the Muttonistas, have been drinking it into form. So let's hope I'm on for a good one here. Muttonistas, it's creamy, I'm getting all the flavours I want, I'm not getting the excessive bitterness I often get in the United States. That only could mean one thing. It's an absolute creamer! Okay, Muttonistas and Wonton Donistas, we are at the Chicago Open Gate Brewery and we are having the Prime Mutton sandwich, a bit of Irish and American fusion, and some Supreme Pints.
I am very excited to try this sandwich.
You go ahead and...
Now, is this a mutton sandwich?
It is the Prime Mutton sandwich. Battered fish on a...
See.
On a, I'm not sure what type of bread, with a Glasgow salad, which meets my requirements.
So it's not sheep?
No, it's not sheep.
Okay. This is a good piece of fish. Now, I might just go fish right now.
You go ahead, you go ahead.
Mm-hmm. That's a good beer batter.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that.
And definitely Guinness.
Excellent.
I can taste the Guinness in that batter. Now, because it's a prime mutton sandwich, I'm just getting this sandwich primed for you to take a bite of the full thing right now. So I'm just cleaning off the edges.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay.
Now, if you take a bite, you'll be able to get everything.
Muttonistas, I'm getting sloppy seconds here, so...
That's a good piece of fish.
It's good, it's well seasoned, but does it go well with the pint?
Let's see.
Absolutely, it does. Muttonistas, an absolute creamer of a combination.
Let's crush this creamer. And yeah, we'll see. Maybe call it a night. Maybe the night will take us somewhere else.
Yeah,
who knows?
well, you know, who knows? Maybe, just maybe, if there's one man I'm going to have my first shot of Malört ever with, it's the Don.
The last time I saw Mutton, we were wrapping up a meet and greet at the Guinness Brewery. Afterwards, I guess he came to this bar and drank the rest of the night, then did another meet and greet on Saturday. It is now Sunday night, and we met up at the Celtic Crossing Irish Bar to say goodbye, and also
to try a shot of Malört.
Yeah.
A lot of you have asked me to try this, and a lot of you have been trying to pass me shots of this whilst I've been here filming in Chicago. Finally, Muttonistas, I'm going to try it. I wouldn't have tried it had Don not come along, but we're going to try one together. And first of all, I have to ask Don, am I going to like this?
I don't really know your flavor palette besides the fact that you love creamers. I will say this. I know you've been to China, you've tried Chinese baijiu.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as gross as baijiu.
Okay, not my cup of tea, but do you like it?
You know what? It's good as a digestif.
Okay.
And you just had a big steak dinner, you know, maybe we'll get the gears turning down there.
And should I shoot this in one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Let's do it.
Of course. Here we go.
And I have to say, Muttonistas, that tastes like medicine to me. I'd better have a slurp of Guinness to take the taste away.
I'll take one too. It's an absolute medicine cabinet, folks.
That is an absolute creamer. That is an absolute medicinal nightmare. That is.
All right. Well, hey, at least it's a creamer. Music back on!